a map, and here we are in a decider, a split, to see who moves forward or who is unfortunately going home, Simo, because now we're finally seeing some teams in the top 8 moving forward, and some teams in the top 8 of the bracket going home, unfortunately.
Oh, this is interesting. What do we normally see Vice on? Tell me quickly. What do we normally see Vice on?
Shinobi. No, sorry, on the Cypher.
The Cypher. Guess what he's playing this time? It's the Split Breach. Cloud9 bringing something new to the conversation. Now, Vansili, talk to me a little bit about what this pick means for Split.
Sorry, what means what for Split?
Breach. Cloud9 picked Breach instead of the Cypher.
Yeah. So definitely it's going to be some strong flashes that's going to help the team. Even on top of that, that's coining in with a curveball from the Phoenix too. So they have 4 very strong flashes to work with. And a map like Split, where whenever you have a rolling thunder, that's going to be so powerful for the attacker side to take split controls into mid. So this is going to be huge, and you're starting to see that that start from Cloud9 as they are starting to work towards this B side first. I think they want to try to learn how Faze is playing it on the defender side too, so they could start abusing it a little bit later going into the gun round. So a fault line to start things off, the rest of them dashing into the site, a wall up as well, and it's going to be the retake play for Faze on this map.
Like you said, Spike, of course, going down, but it's the slow orb back of sight to keep TenZ locked down. The rest of the defense now going to be funneling in through Heaven. Slow orb as well to stop some of those members in the bottleneck towards the garage. Smoke as well going to be going down, which creates a lot of space. You hear some of the flashes start to come through, but here comes the engagement. There's a lot of action. Still, no one has fallen, but now the kills will start to come from TenZ with one, trying to find the second, and it's the shoulder that falls apart there for Marv. But still, it's the 1v2. Zachary finds one. Now down to 1. He's going to lurk around for TenZ. That's the jumping classic, and it works! Zachary winning the pistol for the side of Faze. Very important to start off this way.
I'm not too sure why Shinobi peeked at that point onto the Heaven side. They knew where the shots were coming from. They had TenZ that was basically dashing inside the site, trying to sell some sort of fake too. I know they were playing under a certain uncertainty where they don't really know where Zachary is at that point too. And I guess now I do understand it. If actually we did have Zachary still pushed around the pillar, and he gets the kill versus TenZ on a 1 versus 1. He starts on that defuse, but the defuse is on his side where he can just stay crouched, and you're going to see Shinobi at a disadvantage on the top of Heaven. So he wanted to get that information for the team, but it should have been a jiggle peek instead of really trying to go for a fight at some point versus Zachary. So a great round at least for Faze on that 2 versus 1. Zachary with the clutch, redeeming himself, being shark darted himself on the ascent, and they get the pistol. But now Cloud9 push it aggressively towards mid.
Yeah, while we have a little bit of time and some of that utility is used, T1 are out of the tournament. Gen G answer with a 2-0 victory over T1, sending a very vital message. Shout out to Bach and Esports Doug on the opposite stream for Nerd Street Gamers, which I'm going to assume that they're going to be joining us now after. But wow, what an insane play as we witness Cloud9 on the eco push forward, shots coming through. Marv and company now faced with a 2v3 deficit. Let's see how they react. Marv now going to be dropping down, but it's the fault line. Puts Marv in a very difficult position. Raucus with the judge. He's aerial. That's 1. That's 2. And Marv with the distant shot there on TenZ as well. You know, I know it was the eco for Cloud9. They broke open. They found picks for Raucus. You didn't have to do him like that.
And that's really the only play I would believe that Raucus could really do on that 3 versus 2. Because at that point, he dashes across and he upbursts towards the air. But by the time, who was that around the corner? I think it was Shinobi, right at the bottom. So by the time he calls his teammates, oh my god, Jet has went across. Well, it's too little too late. The judge rains down, gets the kill. But at least the salvation for Cloud9, the good news is that they're able to at least get the spike plant down and what, 2 kills on top of that to get those so it was TenZ around the corner, there you go, to get those 2 kills, 3 kills, and a spike plant in their favor. They did good to hurt the econ here versus Faze.
Wow.
And Corey, though, still opens it up to say, look, you maybe have hurt our economy into this round, but into the gun round, we still have the firepower necessary, and he stops the lurker towards the A side, and that is TenZ falling early, and the rest of Cloud9 having to reassemble. and it's going to be them regrouping towards the sewers to still attack towards A.
That's a huge opening pick, and you kind of hit the money right there. 10's falling so early. A power player out of the mix. Yes, Mitch is still alive, but that's another gun down. And like you said, the economy, it's as we expect. You win the pistol, you win the force up, but then you have to keep the weapons to really tango with the big dogs in the round to follow. So for Cloud9, this push towards A needs to work out. And Raucus, he's already looking to push the issue. He's waiting with the judge, but on the opposite side, they just cross. This is crazy that they don't push in. And for the side of Faze, they double up towards this B site, thinking that maybe, but I think Raucus hears some movement.
Yeah.
And as a result, they will continue to smoke off. Zachary waiting for any of those pushes that come in. And here is another positioning. That's the slow orb. Zachary now able to escape. Mitch will end up finding Raucus, and so now FaZe Clan utility use are forced into this retake.
So Spike looking to get planted here right now for the attackers of Cloud9. A 4-man retake for FaZe. Big wall actually to cover everything up. A good flashpoint coming through the screens, but that is actually just going to blind his teammates right now. Really nobody pushing out from FaZe. They're actually moving as a group down towards this short A side. Great positioning in the crossfire. The camera is going to give out one position at least towards the under hell, and it's going to be Shinobi. So he has the wide swing. He did his job. Taking one with him before he dies. A good curveball from Relix and capitalizes on the kill onto Baby Bay. And that should be the call at this point for Zachary. Look for exits, run away, save your gun, do whatever you can, but try to save that into the next.
Oh, you saw one at the end there. Doesn't peek again. Yeah, it's going to be all shootout, but you know, this is something that we expect. Looking at the economy, FaZe, I think they really invested into that round. You know, everyone who didn't have a weapon bought themselves a Vandal. And so now as we look forward, it's only going to be Zachary, likely going to be the pistol that Cloud9 tie us up at 2-2. However, we have seen eco rounds go worse before. It's just expected that Cloud9 will tie us up.
Trying to figure out if there's a bug on the overlay for Raucus because you see him buying that small shield. But I'm assuming at 1900, I wonder if he sold it back. And well, yeah, no, he still kept it. Okay, because he has a Blade Storm. Okay. I did not notice that as I was so focused on the scoreboard. So he does have a Blade Storm to work with. The rest of them buying whatever they could so they could buy into the next. And Raucus looking to do work, and it pays off super well. As again, 10's supposed to be the opening fragger for the team, is the first one to fall into the round for Cloud9. So an early 5-on-4, low HP for Raucus there as Mars swings out, gets the kill onto Shinobi. And the rotation's coming across, but Sage still holding towards the mid side. It's going to be a Sage versus Sage mirror match towards mid at the rope side while Relix is clearing it out. And it's going to be a stage of FaZe's side that wins versus Mitch to make it now still a 4-on-2 situation for FaZe.
I like this from Raucus. He actually still makes his way in. Now they will not expect him to the right, but they still look, and he double. He doesn't even believe his own eyes. He's like, is there a jet in the corner there? Now Vice, last member standing. Detective Vice looking at the crime scene before him. There's bodies on the ground, and another one will fall. It's his own hands now. But still looking towards this A site. Maybe might double back towards B, but just trying to clear things out. He gets tagged, 87, and that's going to be the swing. A 50 round. You know, statistically, I was going to say, this is the round where, you know, the economy favors Cloud9, and that'll force them down to a potential force-up or just the pistol in order to save some of that economy moving forward. Likely will be a little bit of a mixed bag of purchases coming in from Cloud9, but FaZe up starting really well here in the first half.
Yeah, and you can see it. It's not necessarily an angry buy, but it's like, look, it's still a chance for us to get the round, force buy into this one here, and still try to do some dent in the economy of FaZe into the next. One thing that's good is that they get these kills. There's a possibility to still have one off into the next round for FaZe, but they really want to try to lower that as much as they could. And Rock is getting the wall up versus Mitch, forcing in the Frost Orb, camera to basically seal the deal to not allow Mitch to push it forward. And this is a difference that we see from Cloud9, by the way. For those of you that are new into Valorant and watching Cloud9 as well, Mitch plays that very aggressively for Cloud9 as a Sage. You see him a lot as an entry fragger for the team too. Not only 10's as a lurker / entry fragger, but you still have the battle Sage being played by Mitch on their side.
I love how that's how we're coining it, the battle stage. It sounds like a role in a D&D campaign. Like, I'm gonna play the battle stage.
I love it.
The dwarf battle stage,
Joke's
age
over.
42.
You're dead.
Maybe not the dwarf.
You know, yeah, you're right. Maybe not the dwarf. Maybe not the dwarf. So Relics, he's trying to sell this fake towards the B site, and as they take out Marv, it's looking like it's going to be a successful execute towards the A site, and even the wall to add insult to injury. To be honest, I don't. It actually. Okay, I didn't think it was gonna cover the whole walkway, but it does. So now they blast it down. Still 4 strong here for the side of Faze, and if they find some good picks, they can retake the site. And the fact that they're here early means that it could be a very good retake, but we'll see how they end up doing because there's a lot of great post-plan positions for Cloud9. You know, Relic's playing towards the ropes. Mitch is waiting for any potential ramp pushes. They're in great positioning, but it's the members back of site that I'm worried about. So we'll see how this comes through. Mitch is already down. Now Relic is like, no, I got to get back into the mix. And it's the advantage now for Faze. Resurrection comes through. Baby Bay with 2. Ten's back site behind the map, but he gets taken out. And it's not looking good here for Cloud9. Relic now trying to chase down the off player. He's doing successfully. He's on his lonesome. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. Relics, he's delaying. Now that the hot hand, but he gets taken out eventually. And they still will land the defuse. What a tight, close round. But Faze still come out on top.
What a great try there from Relic. The hot hands. Imagine if it landed just a bit further. Will they still have enough time? You saw Zachary was like, oh my god, I got to protect my teammate. He already came out with the heal, trying to throw it onto his teammate just in case, but it did not land. Look at that. Such a valiant attempt. A nice spray through the screens. And like you said, Simo, they had great positioning from the way that Cloud9 played it. But on the end of Faze, they kind of knew where their positioning was at. Because of that running back. The running back they threw towards that mid side, inside the B side, forced a rotation out, allowed Tens to get a kill, but they knew there was still going to be 1 or 2 lurkers towards this mid side for Team Faze. Oh my god, it comes into their favor as Raucus gets a nice kill onto Tens to start things off, and Faze are looking really good to play this defensive side, a split to start things off. So 4-1, looking comfortable as they continue on their fight. Want to do this, continue to move aggressively as we do have an eco for Cloud9. But you see how aggressive they are. They like this playstyle, very similar to what we were saying before with Zoms and Sinatra, coming from the Overwatch team, liking to go for these repeats, for these unorthodox pushing plays. So they go for these double peaks and continuous double peaks instead of trying to fall back and set up different crossfires set up there. So Faze making it a 4-on-1 situation, leaving now Relics by himself.
Yeah, he's going to try to at least peek through. He's got the ghost in hand, but I mean, at this point, Relics, I mean, successfully, he could find 1. Maybe he could find 2, but the paranoia means that it's the double flash. He can't really do a whole lot. Blast back makes it worse, but still finds 1. Mar almost finds the... Wait, he what? Wait, what? Relics.
That was
he kept
sick.
it within contention, and that was sick. But one of the things that I wanted to add to kind of your discussion about, you know, Overwatch players and CSGO players, one of the things that I think is quite healthy about Overwatch players coming through is that they help CSGO players who may be stuck in their ways about how they play CSGO. Valorant's a little bit of a different game. There are certain things that are obviously very different. It's the abilities, it's the rotations, it's the round differences, how much more important eco rounds are and how much more important pistol rounds are. Like, there's a lot of there's a lot of similarities, but there's also a lot of differences. And for Overwatch players to come in and show how they play the game, CSGO players, especially when on a team with some Overwatch players, might learn, okay, I actually need to do this a little differently. Or this way that I peak in CSGO should not be the way that I peak in Valorant, you know, or I need to do this differently. And I think that's quite healthy for the game to bring more minds to it. And the same goes for PUBG players too, like 100 Thieves, and Apex players, like Asu and Zoms, and and Mendo as well, like different players coming from different backgrounds, really helping give a fresh perspective on Valorant.
Yeah, definitely. But I think ACU, it also has that. ACU is basically good at everything he plays in terms of a sniper, because he's a good Widowmaker when he's pumping it out. He was a great Opper when he was playing CSGO, and he's just had sick aim playing Apex as well. So big shout out to ACU, by the way, if you're watching this stream. But into this round, we kind of have this pause for technical at the same time too. So what's going to happen now? Let's look at least at the overhead. We have 4 ultimates ready here for the attacker side. We do have a full gun round for both of these players too, both of these teams, and it starts off with Raucus, a big position, aggressive, trying to look back towards the spawn side, but now that it's smoked out, he's slowly walking back. But they have 3 players already stacked up for this A side of Team Faze.
Joke's over! You're dead!
Yeah, they're going to use the run it back as well, but Marv is ready with his own paranoia off to the side. Still haven't picked up any base. The showstopper as well to help stop. There's just a lot of action and pandemonium on the site. Raucus gets involved, but it's Cloud9 that end up successful. Find the 3 anchors on the site. Now it's just down to Baby Bay and Zachary, who are left remaining. Scraps of Faze and Cloud9 looking to put round number 2 on the board, but still, Faze can make it expensive. With 5 members remaining, they can take out 1, they can take out 2, or they save their weaponry, play it wise, and keep things in contention. Knowing Faze, they like to get scrappy, so we'll see what they end up doing.
Yeah, definitely. You already saw Baby Bay picking up that operator, so they're looking to bring it back, but you kind of have Zachary stuck at the screens now from that position as that smoke dissipates. And because of that, he's just trying to get some econ damage before he falls down, but he gets nothing there. Weiss gets the kill. 4 of them make that, 5 of them manage to come out of the site unscathed. And pretty healthy on top of that, too. So it is going to be a nice flawless round for the team, as it was just a nice execution using a Rolling Thunder into their favor. On top of that, a run it back from Relics into the site. So a run it back from Relics into the site with the hot hands, trying to do as much, keeping it off their toes, and then a Rolling Thunder on top of that from Vice into a Heaven. Basically gave no chance there for FaZe to hold off the area and allow C9 to get the plant, or defend versus C9's plant.
To be honest, they really needed that round, you know, for Cloud9 to try to keep things at least close, especially with the end of the round, sorry, the end of the half. And already we're seeing an aggressive push from the defense towards the garage. It honestly doesn't really work out well for them. They even get a res as well to boot. So now Cloud9 once again in the driver's seat, which for FaZe, they forced up this round. They had two members had 0 credits moving into this round. Considering they bought the weapons and the armor and the abilities needed. So Cloud9 could be looking down the barrel of a potentially 5-4 after this is all said and done, because FaZe went down to pistols. I mean, we've seen how crazy they can be, but statistically, that's what I predict. So now, FaZe clan, they're ready for this to push forward. Rocket's going to find 1, and already I'm starting to eat my words. 2 picks even things out to a 3v3, and the retake here for FaZe is very possible.
Yeah, but Relics is starting to end that dream. Zachary on a big flank. Easy kill there on Device. Now a 2 versus 2. You do have a wall bang that puts Raucus down to almost halfway as Zachary comes out with the heal at least. But now as this 2v2, that clock is still ticking down. You still have a Blade Storm from Raucus. But you kind of see that they're still hesitating on trying to take the site. Finally, it's going to be Zachary that takes the first step. Moving inside that site because of this wall, he's kind of out of position to try to win this one here. So it should come in for him to get this skill onto Mitch. But Relics is going to have to come around the corner. Trying to get this frag. He misses it, but there's no time. Zachary will probably die from this.
It's going to be close, but I think he actually will end up surviving. So despite the round going to Cloud9, they're still able to save some of the weapons from FaZe and knock down a lot of that economy. But if you look at what is really happening, there's still a lot of credits here on the side of Cloud9. It was 8,000 for 10s. Now he's obviously going to buy down. There's still a lot they have to work with, despite how many members were lost in that engagement. And for FaZe, like, I mean, the round is done. There's no point in kind of looking back. But I wonder how they could have played that differently. Could they have played it faster? Could they have played it slower? You know, like, what could have been changed for them to come out on top? Because they did find the frags, just not the defuse.
Well, now you see Raucus and company. Blade Storm out for Raucus, but he's the only player inside the fight. And somehow that flashpoint doesn't blind him. There was a little bit of an obstacle still, but still, Tense manages to get the kill. So it's a 5-on-4 to start things off. Couple of sprays through the dark cover on the top of the Heaven side, but Tense already updrafted in a great position on the top of the catwalk. Spike will go down. Pink Shells does not connect from Corey, as Mitch is just waiting for the smoke to dissipate, and he's going to be the first point of contact to get some information.
Yeah, for FaZe, we've seen how they can just divide and conquer and push in, but it really has to be off the back, off the picks. Mitch This is a crucial op shot, but still the rest of the team interested in the idea. Now Ten's in a lot of trouble. He'll find the first pick as they push him, still blinded, and we'll find out the frag. Marv got Ten's with 3, and now it's down to the 2 teams. The man advantage of 9, that's quickly evened out. This is another shot, but will answer back onto Marv. That spike's ticking. Corey does not have enough time to deal with Cloud9. So yet another round on the board. We talked about a 5-4 finish here, but now Faze, they will have some credits to work with, and hopefully, I really don't remember what they had to work with in that round previous, but they can buy here. Then they'll be on the, if they lose, it's the pistol, and then they can buy again. So 2 potential gun rounds here for Faze, if things go sour, which means that they can close things off with the positive round differential, and we'll see if that's going to be the case.
Yeah, looks like they want to play the safer route, right? You see the small shields. Okay, never mind. They're going to go for small shields with Vandals maybe at that point. And you can see it coming in for Baby Bay. Small shields and a Phantom. The rest will have a healthy buy, but they bought all the way down to 0 for one of the players too. So they really want to take this back here from the hands of Cloud9. Really trying to prevent this even score scenario for Cloud9 as they're clawing back in the attacker's line here. But again, I'll have to look back at the stats of how it's been played yesterday here for Faze. How many rounds did they get versus Lemonade Sand on the attacker side versus defender side too? We'll just have to check that maybe at the half just to solidify what maybe we could predict for Faze on the second half. But again, maybe the prediction, I'll leave it for you, Simo.
Yeah, no, I'm having a look at the very last map played of the group stage. It was China Win against Faze Clan. And of course, China Win, a completely different team. But it was actually only China Win that were able to get 5 rounds of the defense. So it was a 7-5 scoreline. So for Faze, you know, if we are giving us the benchmark that China Win was the most competitive team that they faced yesterday, that's a pretty decent scoreline, especially on attack. So considering how defender sided it can be, we definitely can't count out Faze quite yet.
So an orb now picked up by Relics. As interesting enough here, as it took us a couple of rounds, at least for me, to talk about the agent composition. But using Relics playing as the Phoenix instead of having him play for the site is something that's different as well for the team of Cloud9. But so far with 4 rounds, it's working out, but they're working really tight on the clock. They've lost a player, but they're even a tally. They're trying to move inside B to get the spike plant. Big aftershock as Zachary thought that he was going to be safe from that range, but Vice does get the kill. So now a 4-on-3, they will get the spike down, and that's going to be the call now at this point for Corey and Marv and company to say, look, if we don't get any kill early, let's try to save. Opshot that's going to wall Corey down to 6 HP, and that should even seal the deal that they should go for a save, especially now that they don't have a heal as Zachary has fallen. Okay, Marv is still going to go for it. Interesting.
Yeah, he still wants to get involved. But there is a stack set up there for one of these things. They should be able to take him out. Yep, makes sense to me. 2 remain though out of Faze. That's going to be the quick trade, but Relics, he was up above from behind all along. So he'll find 3 easy picks for himself. And things are tied up 5-5. Faze Clan with 2 rounds that remain in this half. They have to win a good eco or they have to win a good gun round to give us a 6-6 scoreline. But then we move on to the more favorable side for Cloud9. Now, I did mention that they had a decent time against China Win on a map like Split on the attacker side. But if you think about it, both teams, Faze Clan and China Win, had to play 3 back-to-back-to-back best-of-3s. So there could have been some stamina. China Win, that they were like, man, just drained, you know? Just tired, difficult to continue playing these best-of-3s. And so it could be that Faze Clan was just hungry to make it forward. And they could be hungry here too, so we'll have to wait and see. But the setup here for Cloud9 looks like a potential B push once again as they set up towards the middle and might work their way through to heaven.
Yeah, I like the start of that round there for the combo between Tens and Mitch, getting that wall boost inside the spawn, and then going for the updraft. But Baby Bay going close range headshot onto Relics, and that is so much information as they spot 4 players, or also towards the mid side. Nothing towards A. This is going to give a chance for Courier to go for such a big flank, or even play a better angle from the sewers, and allow these guys to rotate back, and then give a chance here. I meant guys by Cloud9, and give a chance for Faze to just step towards the B side. And Mitch, though, still gets the pick off onto Marv. Tens moving forward, and slowly the defense is dwindling towards the B side, where only Baby Bay is at currently. He gets sniped towards the back, backstab coming through, as now the smoke is going to be thrown from the Omen towards that spawn side. They're moving in. They'll get the plant. But Corey and Zachary, with the guns that they have, At this point, even Corey falling down. The economy has fallen apart, at least on this buy. They should be safe into the next to buy into the last round. But I was trying to say here, Simo, was that previous round where they tried to go for a retake with 3 players inside the side of B, with already Corey down to only 6 HP. Should they have actually saved those weapons into that previous round that we just witnessed, then it would have been a full gun round in their favor. So they had two sort of like, they had a mixed buy going into the last one and into this last one here. They're going to go back with a full gun round, but I think they kind of lost the momentum off that previous one with that mixed buy.
Here.
It could have been a full gun round is what I'm trying to say. On these last 2 rounds instead of broken on the last and a full gun round this one.
Or at least like a decent, you know, have at least enough weaponry, because obviously we saw a little bit of a mixed bag. One of the things that I've kind of noticed from Faze is
Joke's over.
Corey not
You're
really
dead.
using the showstopper a lot in this specific first half. You know, something that we know is that he's cracked on bind. He's already out of the picture. It's the last round of the half, and I don't think I've seen a single showstopper yet this entire half. And so my question becomes, you know, where's the Corey that we know is so cracked on the Rays, right? A showstopper could be such a difference maker when it comes to taking out 1, even 2 players if you find a good one, especially with these tight corridors on split. You know, if you know who's coming, just go in. So looking like these 2 early picks are bad news for Faze. Relic's gonna find 1. Rock is gonna try to rotate, maybe even catch the tail end of his retreat, but misses him ever so slightly. Now Cloud9 prepares this push on towards B. The red carpet has been rolled out for Heaven, but he's really quite there. As Zachary falls, Baby Bay will be taken out, and that spike will end up going down in a 4v2 retake here for Faze.
And Zachary even falling back all the way here, trying to, I'm wondering if they're trying to go to A to try to get a res. But it's still going to be Relics lurking around here. There you go. He gets the last 2 kills. We're going to end the half 7-5 in favor of Cloud9. Which is actually not bad here for the C9 team, switching over to the defender side now. But I guess I was just trying to think as I'm talking in terms of that res from Zachary. I think from the scenarios and the situations that they saw with their players or teammates falling down, the best bet was maybe to try to go for that res inside the A side, because trying to res back inside B when you've already taken control for a Cloud9 side, it would have been a tough one. And even they could have had a res towards mid side too, because I think they had a player die earlier on in that side in the beginning of the round too. They wanted to put the numbers into their favor and play more safely on the retake. But it didn't happen in their favor because Relic's able to get entries, able to get lurk kills, just did his job for Cloud9 on that attacker side.
Camera taken out. Cage trigger.
Early look towards Faze's attempt at a 4. That's the 10s duel that goes over to Rockus and Corey as well in the middle. A great pistol to open us up into the second half. The rest of Cloud9 trying to find what way they want to rotate back through. Relics on the site. A couple of shots with the classic will connect but not seal the deal on any frags. And somehow through the blind, Baby Bay just tangles with him. Has the dancing shoes available and wins the duel there with Relic. Now up to Vice and Shinobi. They're prepared for a retake. Smoke's going down, but all of the members of Faze are in back of sight. They're stacked up together. Here they come. Marv with 1. And Shinobi, he might just be playing exits now at this point. Or trying to take some of these individual 1v1s. And as I say that, it's almost a flawless victory here for Faze, but it's a great pistol to open this up.
Yeah, I was praising Relics on the first half. A perfect curveball and a potential of 1 or 2 kills before he dies to try to even up the tally on the situation, potentially make it 2-2 on the retake attempt for Cloud9. That was a little bit more questionable in terms of his classic play. Again, both of them had dancing shoes because he was surviving for quite a long time with 2 players about to push in against him. But unfortunately, he needed to take some kills, not try to stay alive at that point, which gave that opportunity for Faze to just move into the site and have more players playing back on that pulse plan in the back of the site. Now even this round, we're trying to gamble in the crosshair, pushing through the smoke, and that's already 4 players dying instantly. So curveball, they know where the last player is at. It's going to be Relics going head-to-head versus the Cypher at the spawn. Even going for a little fun 3-2, getting the flash actually onto Baby Bay and still the kill.
Man, he's got some movement. I got to tip my hat over to Relics. Yeah, he's still dancing. He's not done from the previous round, but a 1v4. If there's anyone that can take these individual 1v1s and clutch it out, it would be Relics. But a majority of the members of Faze are still kind of stacked together and holding some angles. It is only Marv that is interested in the idea of figuring out where is Relics. And so he's got the Spectre in hand. Relics off to the right. Oh, that's timing. That's timing. That's so unfortunate. But nevertheless, Faze Clan, they tie us up 7-7. Gun round coming in for Cloud9. And this is where we saw them won in the previous half. Let's see if the same happens here once again.
So as I'm looking at it here for FaZe Clan, on the attacker side, on the first time they lost versus China win on split, they only got 2 rounds on the attacker side too. When they lost 13-6, but when they won 13-6, they had 7 rounds on their side. So there's still a large disparity of how the attacker side could work here for FaZe. But at this point, with another technical pause here, we're still waiting to see Corey trying to open up. And Corey maybe had some struggles on that defender side, but now that he has the opportunity of really pushing forward, trying to get the kills, and the way that he's been aiming so far today with the Vandal, with the amount of headshots that he's landing, I think that showstopper maybe could have been, wasn't that present towards that defender side, but I think on the attacker side, we'll start seeing a lot more here, as I think he's definitely going to start stepping up.
You know, one of the bigger question marks for me is we obviously talked a little bit about how FaZe Clan had a pretty decent attacker side when it came to China win. But the question for me now becomes, can they do that same performance against Cloud9, a top 5 team, regardless of where you put them in the power rankings? They're between, obviously not 1, but between 2 and 5. You could safely say that they are a 2nd place team, a 3rd place team, a 4th place team. But now that they've been knocked down to the lowers, FaZe has had some close games on Ascent, stomped them on Haven, and now are keeping it close and within contention of Cloud9. And that begs the question, is FaZe Clan now a top 5 team? We still need a lot more performance out of them. We still need to see them make some deep runs and have some top 4 finishes. But at the bare minimum, this performance is still very impressive. Even if FaZe Clan fall out of the tournament here, they have a good best-of-3 record now against Cloud9.
No, definitely. I think the key thing, as you said it there, it's potential, right, that we have from FaZe Clan, sorry. As you know, they're putting us some good numbers and some good fights. You're tied up 7-7 in this matchup between Cloud9, and with the amount of pressure, being new into the scene, new as a team, and going into the 3rd and final map and still make it 7-7 in a super close game, potential is definitely the key. Now, as we're looking through the scoreboard too, let's not discredit Shinobi, even though he's 1-10, right? He's the IGL for the team. He's playing as the Omen. He's trying to set the smokes right now for the team to allow players as Relics to continue to get entries on the attacker side, but Relics also had a lot of lurk kills on the attacker side as well. But on the defender, he's going to be the one that's going to be helping a lot. And again, with probably retakes, with the paranoia on top of the curveballs to help out the team, he's going to be more of as an accessory, quote unquote, player for Cloud9, as he kind of does as Sova as well on other maps.
So now that the pause is done, Vansilio, let's tee up the round to follow. This is the gun round, you know, for the side of FaZe. It's not really looking so great. There's a couple of Spectres. There's some assault rifles, we'll give them that. But for Cloud9, they've got the full mixed bag. They've got an op on 10s, which is standard, especially on the defensive side. And for the rest of the members, they've got their fresh pair of Jordans on the first day of school. They've got Vandals, they've got Phantoms, and they have the heavy armor. So for the side of FaZe, it's going to be a tall task, but we've seen how scrappy these fights can get and how it actually benefits FaZe. And for Cloud9, there's a little bit of structure that they probably wish they would have amongst the chaos, but for FaZe, they're happy living right in it.
And the interesting part is, look how passive they're playing middle. They've basically given up middle for their side. They turtled 2 inside the A side, 3 inside B, and it's still Mitch that gets the first kill. So like I said, this allows Corey to kind of lurk around and what type of entries can he get. So what was the idea behind Cloud9 playing this type of defense when also on top of that, you don't really have any ultimates on their side too to try to go for any counters, right? You don't have a rolling thunder if people are coming up towards having a B split. So I think you could see it for maybe the crossfire inside B, it's a paranoia and 2 flashpoints to try to counter that. And also inside A side, it's going to be the curveball. Starting off with Relics. That's one throw, that's a second throw, and he's 3 blind, and he gets the wall bang onto Zachary through his opponent's body. And that was the omen as Relics still is able to get the kill onto Marv. And that's how and why they played it so passively and turtled up inside the site for Cloud9.
There's nothing else I can add. You called it there perfectly. I really like that setup towards B. We'll see if FaZe end up pushing towards it anytime soon, because I think it works quite well. I mean, I don't presume Cloud9 will run similar strats consistently. They'll obviously mix things up, but having a look at the replay, Mitch didn't even really need support. It was there just in case. Paranoia was ready. Flashpoint was ready. But on the opposite side of the map, Relics, he knew that throwing the first curveball wasn't really going to be when he peaks. It's the second one that they don't expect to come through. So looking at the round ahead, FaZe have got the pistol. Cloud9 potentially will end up with a 2-round lead, but every time I say that Cloud9 are going to win against FaZe Clan's pistol, they somehow come through and prove me wrong. So we'll see if they end up doing the same here. It's a little bit of a different setup for Cloud9, as Relics is the only contact point near the A site. Of course, 10's playing in the ropes, but it's going to take him a long time to funnel through. And by the time he does, FaZe Clan have complete control of this A site.
Definitely. So 10's will now have to wait for his teammates. We're still trying to clear out the site here for FaZe. So from that, they've wasted a lot of utilities. That's the paint shells. We have a couple of crossworks towards that ground, and that's going to give the ability for 10 to move forward to get the kill on Zachary, and he drops the spike carrier. So he's going to waste even more time into the site to give a chance for Cloud9 to rotate. So now 2, make that 3 towards screens, 1 here towards the heaven, but still 10's breaking that camera, and Rockus has to come up huge, but Mitch says no, answers out with an operator, while Baby Bay is still playing towards elbow. Trying to fall back, big flashpoint, fully blinded, still in great position. Going straight behind the shot, but he gets the headshot onto Vice. His teammate has fallen down. It's him and Corey. He gets a second kill. Make that a third kill onto 10. It's a turn on a 1 versus 1, and Corey still gets the kill as a great hold on a 2 versus 4. FaZe ties it back up, 8-8.
I think at this point, I should just retire the mic. You know, every time I say, all right, FaZe Clan, economy's rough, let's see what they can do. And boy, can they do, because that is a round that Cloud9, they bunker down. They had a flawless round, right? They were off of a flawless round. They didn't lose a single weapon from the gun round, and all of a sudden, FaZe Clan, they come out of nowhere. Yes, it was crazy. It was a little saucy, but they got the job done. And so now, Cloud9, I'd love to see the scoreboard, see where they're at, and it looks like weapons are still good, but the economy's low. And so if FaZe Clan win this round, they can really build themselves up a great lead moving forward.
Cover going out.
Yeah, despite there, I think I saw Rockus with a judge, but he also had 2,700 left, so they really want to use the judge into his favor. A fire in the hole from Corey. Showstopper does not connect, and a full retake play. Actually, not even a retake play. They're trying to fight it back, and only now is a rocket shot. Sorry, I didn't even see it from the beginning. The spike will go down. This rocket forward. Pens gets the first kill, as that's a big fragger now as Corey falls. Flashpoint, curveball as well, and it's going to be the run it back to get that information. Storm to get a kill, but it's still back and forth. We're still trying to stay alive here for FaZe. Vice still trying to move forward. Rockus with the play storm does not connect, and Shinobi and Vice wins that 2 versus 2. And it's now going to be Cloud9 back in the lead.
Really, I only think the reason why Cloud9 win that is because they fought the retake. They didn't let them get into the post plant. And if they did, then FaZe Clan, I think, hold on to that. I think they bunker down and they win that. But for Cloud9, they were there already. Hurry up, get onto the site, let's do this. And now, at their disposal, they have the Rolling Thunder. Retakes can be a little bit easier now, depending on how they want to play it. If they want to play a little bit more of a passive style, they can rely on that ultimate, maybe net them around, maybe throw FaZe off balance. And on the opposite side, Zachary's relatively close to a res. They do have the neural theft to spot out where some of the opposition may lie, but pistols in hand, FaZe Clan are not anticipating a victory here.
Unless Relics punish, but the first cannon of the boat comes down, sprays through the smoke as well. He gets 2 kills now, hands on the ground, tends to pick him up, getting the 4th kill, and Rocket's fully blinded, gets the headshot into Relics. He's trying to bait up the shot, 7 HP left, and that is going to be it. Jumping classic, long range with a burst on top of that to land with a headshot courtesy of Tens. And now they take the lead by 2. It's so back and forth in this second half. I did not anticipate this because look at this scoreboard, Simo. It was 6 rounds in a row here, won by Cloud9. And then after that, it's just back and forth, back and forth.
You know, statistically, man, I keep using that word and it keeps biting me in the butt.
It's late in the night, man. We've exhausted our vocabulary.
Yeah, statistically, Split is a defender-sided map. But what I hear from pros time and time again is that this is a playstyle-oriented game, which means certain playstyles might come and sweep you off your feet like Tens just did to Corey, but Marv, he's going to answer back. And maybe this aggressive playstyle from Faze, it just works. It just works for them on Split. So far, we are seeing Cloud9 have a pretty good opportunity here to make this 11-8, as it's just down to 2 members here for Faze, up against 4. Odds stacked against them, but Zachary with the res. Let's see how they dwindle those odds back into their favor.
Yeah, as he picks up the orb for the res, they're actually still pushing on it. So they're not trying to fall back and take control. They still have a minute on the clock to work with, so they could have if they wanted to. But now it's going to be the res that falls. Traded off by Marv at least, but the cover is blown. It's a 3 versus 1. I like this. He's going to go for a fake plant and possibly, if he wanted to, go for the from the shadows inside A. But that's why when you're looking at it from an overhead view, Relic's actually rotated all the way across towards the A side too, just in case he hears it. So 40 seconds left on the clock. They're trying to push down here as Cloud9 and don't mind this position. They want to play the retake. Give him the spike. We don't care. Let him plant, and then we'll play a 3 versus 1 on the site. So a great play, great display of patience from Cloud9 too. Now we're going to get the spike plant coming in from Marv with 22 seconds left on the clock. And a retake is now coming.
Spike planted.
Yeah, and immediately you see Relic start the jet line forward. Marv, if he gets into a great post-plant position, I think he might be able to take some individual 1v1s, but you know, Cloud9, with the flashes they have, they want to play together, right? They still have the run it back, really want to secure this round, to maybe even try to secure a chain of rounds together off of this. So see, that's going to be the jump in from Mitch. 3 here for Marv. Still going to be 2 that remain, and now gets into a position where he has a sight line on the spike. 1 towards Heaven, but it's a cloud there for Marv, and now the Paranoia, unfortunately, thought all members were on the spike there, and Relics was just waiting up above the entire time. 11-8, Cloud9 leading the charge. And FaZe Clan, the gun rounds not really working out well for them. So moving forward, they either gamble onto a soft buy here and hope that they win, because I don't think the economy is really going to be that favorable for them in the round to follow. So we'll see what they end up cooking up with. Their decision's important, right? Because if they save, then they're saying, okay, we're just going to win 4 straight. And if they don't, then they're looking like we're not letting them have this match point.
Yeah, I could see from Mars' point of view, he wanted to play it super passively too. But at the end, he also had his full kit available. He had Shrouded Steps, he also had 2 smokes and even a Paranoia. Knowing from that first kill, it could have been huge for him to throw a Paranoia, knowing that the second one was going to run it back coming from Heaven's side, and maybe he could have been lucky off that Paranoia and maybe get 2 kills on top of it, or a 1 versus 1, and a last 1 versus 1. But that being said, though, as you said, for FaZe, they are going for some sort of a mixed buy, so they could buy into the next and bring this into overtime. As Relics gets the first kill, moving forward, looking for the second one, and that's the spike carrier down. Pushing forward from the paint shells, gets the 4K, looking for the ace, but it's going to be Tens to end it off. And one thing here to mention, Simo, is from this previous round, moving into the next, from this flawless round of Cloud9, they are also running a double operator setup. A very hard defense to try to penetrate on the attacker side, especially now that FaZe have lost 4 rounds in a row.
You know, we're probably going to talk about this in the post game, but I just think Cloud9 haven't lost their cool. You know, FaZe Clan have definitely kept their confidence up, and I have to commend them for it, right? Like, this is a tough series to go up against one of the top 5 teams in NA Valorant, and while they're keeping things close, I just think Cloud9 haven't lost their blend. Still fighting, still trying to keep things cooking. Ten's gonna find one early. And he makes the highlight reel. He's gonna back away while Shinobi holding down the mail route. Now Ten's gonna rotate back towards the defender spawn. Relic still holding on towards his A site, but Shinobi holding on to this push in. And he has support there from Vice. While FaZe Clan don't want to risk anything too heavy, as they obviously did lose a member, but the resurrection puts them back into play.
5-on-5 now, and from that resurrection, that at the least the armor taken away, and also the res taken away on a crucial round here for FaZe. They're still trying to take this mid control. Shinobi playing super passively, and that barrel of the gun gives a chance for him to get the first shot, and that is marked the fall. But I don't think he knows that two players have walked through the ropes, so they have to readjust and play passively now. Tens is going to look back towards screens, but you still have Relics playing inside the site. From this positioning, though, with 30 seconds left on the clock, it seems as though FaZe will be committed to work towards this A side. And they're going to have to start acting quick when the rotations come forward. And it's Zachary putting the first set, and Zachary to fall. Tens dashing back and getting a headshot into Baby Bay, and they know the spike is there too. Only one to go as Corey falls
Enemy
down.
kill.
Marcus gonna clutches for the team, and 10 says no. The Blight Storm to the face. 13-8 for Cloud9 as they eliminate